Hey everybody, it's Dan LaPerry with his very first podcast. Yay, 2018. Anyway, hey, just wanted to recap the UFC 219. I'm not going to talk about all the fights. I'm going to zero in on one, which was my favorite, which was Khabib Nurmagomedov against good Lord, who did he I want to say Tony Ferguson, but no, Khabib versus Edson Barbosa. Um, Probably not the fight everyone was hoping for, but I mean, what did we learn from that fight, man? Look, if you had any doubt about Khabib Nurmagomedov, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but the guy's 24 and 0. There was a lot of speculation, kind of like, you know what? He's always hurt. He's Cardio's not going to be there. He hasn't fought in over a year. He hasn't fought real top-notch guys. Well, he fought a top-notch number two guy on Saturday night, and he mauled the heck out of him. I mean, talk about a performance. He finally got a $50,000 performance bonus for that, and I think he deserved every bit of it. So what happened? I mean, he fought the perfect fight. When you're fighting a guy like Edson Barbosa, who has the amazing kicks, amazing strikes, keeps that distance, you can't stand on the outside and get picked apart, or you'll get knocked out. I mean, he's that good. But Khabib comes in with a game plan where he doesn't give him that distance. He doesn't stay on the outside. He walks him down, took a few shots, nothing big, nothing really landed. And Khabib like doesn't wrestle like a George St. Pierre or a Josh Koscheck. There's a big difference between someone who's kind of like a shoot wrestler or someone who just kind of pins you up against the cage, grabs wrist control, gets his underhooks, and grapples you to the ground. It might take him a minute or so, but man, that stuff takes the wind out of you. He literally just manhandles his opponents, and he did it to Edson Barbosa. He's done it to every single person that he's fought. I mean, if you're in the 155-pound category and you're looking at that fight, who's handled Barbosa like that? Nobody. I mean, you got to be shaking in your boots, and that's one of the reasons I think that it was hard for Khabib to get fights. Nobody wanted to fight with him. I mean, can you blame him? And so now you got what? Who's next? You got Tony Ferguson. Um, you got Kevin Lee, but that'd be going backwards for Khabib. So Tony Ferguson will probably get the fight with Khabib, or Khabib will get the fight with him because he's the interim champ. I don't think Connor's coming back. Look, let me give you my opinion on Connor. I think Connor is a great self-promoter. I think he's got some of the best stand-up, if not the best, in all of MMA. But his ground game is weak. His jiu-jitsu is weak. It's average at best. His wrestling is weak. It's average at best, and that's being very very lenient. But what he is good at is self-promotion. I mean, the guy's worth over 100 million now. Do I think he'll be back? I don't think he'll be back because why would he? He doesn't need to. I think what you'll probably see, at least he's not going to be back in the UFC. That's my opinion because I mean, how's the UFC gonna give me even a tenth of what he made when he fought Mayweather? They can't. They just can't. They need to make money, and they're not in business to lose it. Connor's a big draw, but let's be real. What has Connor really done? He lost to Floyd. He lost to Nate. He almost lost to Chad Mendes. I mean, Chad Mendes took him down like 3 or 4 times, and the only reason Connor won that fight was because Chad took that fight on what, two weeks notice, and didn't have the cardio. I mean, he was killing Connor the first 2 rounds, and then he just kind of got winded, and Connor weathered the storm. Connor's a bigger guy, and then Connor knocked him out. When you get tired, the best fighters become the worst fighters. So will Connor come back? Probably not. I mean, if he does, they're going to pay him a lot of money, and they're going to pay him, I mean, at least $20 million. Is the UFC prepared to do that? Can they make money off that? I don't know. I don't know. Plus, Connor knows that stylistically, Khabib and Ferguson, heck, Max Holloway too. Max Holloway went the distance, gave a good fight the first time a few years ago. if you remember that. And Max Holloway is twice the fighter he was back then. Um, but Khabib is a very bad matchup for Conor. And Conor knows it. Conor's a smart fighter. He knows that if he fights Khabib, if he doesn't knock him out and Khabib gets his hands on him, game over. It's done. And then that'll taint his legacy. Same with Ferguson. Ferguson's got decent stand up, but if he gets his hands on Conor, it's lights out. Hell, if I'm really starting to get big on Brian Ortega, T City Ortega. That guy, who I think he's 9-0 now, he's ripping through everybody. Man, dude, there's never been a better time to be an MMA fan than there is right now. I mean, I guess really what we should be looking forward to is the Khabib Tony Ferguson fight, because that's going to be a barn burner. That's going to be a barn burner for sure. So that's my take on it. I don't think Conor's going to fight, at least not in the UFC. I think he'll if you see him fight again, it'll probably be with Oscar De La Hoya or Manny Pacquiao, and he's going to lose that fight too. And he's probably going to make another $100 million, and then we'll never see him again. And I think that's a shame, because as a pure MMA fan, I really like to see Conor in the octagon, and I'd like to see him fight some game opponents, some people with reach, some people that can actually fight against him, like Nate Diaz. And I think Khabib would have been a great fight with Conor. I think Conor still could have won if he could keep it standing, but how do you keep it standing against Khabib? No one's been able to do it, and I just don't see Conor doing it. So lot of cool stuff going on. We got some good fights coming up with Daniel Cormier and Volcom and Stipe and Ngannou. I mean, good Lord, man. If you're an MMA fan, then this is the month to be happy, because we're going to get to see a lot of cool stuff going down. So anyway, if you like this podcast, it's my first, not even sure I'm doing it right. Go ahead and subscribe and follow me, because I'm excited about MMA. I'm excited about 2018, and we'll catch you guys later.